Well, Across the Spider-Verse is about to come our way on digital release, and now we've got a couple of updates regarding the movie, including a really interesting scrap cameo, and what's going to make it onto the Blu-ray, including deleted scenes. So let's break that down. Well, we are about a week away from Across the Spider-Verse finally dropping on digital release. Now, the movie did really great in the theaters, bringing in almost $700 million, which is pretty amazing for an animated movie, and it's pretty much a shoo-in for the animated Oscar, or at least a nomination, because the movie really does stand out in multiple ways. Now, over the last couple of weeks, we've been seeing lots of bits of concept art, and some of this concept art has been, well, rather revealing. Now, a lot of this has come directly from Chris Anaka, who worked on the film. But earlier today, a piece leaked out that he responded to, and it turns out there was almost a major cameo that would have blown everybody's socks off, and there were legal reasons it didn't happen. Now, back in the 1990s, both Marvel and DC, well, they were all struggling, and Marvel even faced bankruptcy at one point. Now, eventually the publishers kind of got together and did 1996 Marvel vs. DC. And this resulted in Amalgam Comics. Now, Amalgam Comics was a combination of different heroes from each universe combined together into new characters. And one of those characters was Spider-Boy. Now, this version of Spider-Boy was quite different than the current Dan Slott version, and clearly is a combination of the Connor Kent Superboy and Peter Parker. Now, in some recent concept art, it turns out the character was expected to appear. The Spider-Boy from the Amalgam universe was one of the more popular characters there, so it doesn't surprise me that he was going to be part of this movie. And this leads us to a picture that has found its way onto social media. The picture floating around is kind of fuzzy, but that is clearly that version of Spider-Boy from the classic Amalgam series. Now, the artist himself didn't post this picture, but he did acknowledge it and actually made it really clear they weren't able to use it because of legal reasons, meaning they would need a sign-off from DC and Sony was unable to obtain it. It is a pretty cool cameo that I would have loved to see take a quick peek in there, would have been awesome. And it is kind of sad that it didn't work out because this character is still awfully popular even to this day. Now, like we were saying, next week the film finally drops on digital release, but it is set for a Blu-ray release later next month on September the 5th. Now, we've gotten a full breakdown on all the special features and a deleted scene. But that's right, just one deleted scene. Now, the full breakdown of the DVD does sound pretty great and has a bunch of featurettes including obscure spiders and Easter eggs, the deleted scene called Miguel Calling, I'ma Do My Own Thing, Interdimensional Destiny, Across the Worlds, Designing New Dimensions, Designing Spiders and Spots, Scratches, Scores, and the Music of the Multiverse, Escape from Spider Society, Across the Comic Verse, Lyric Video, Filmmaker Commentary, which is always a lot of fun, Creating the Ultimate Spider-Man Movie, Raising a Hero, and Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider Cast. Now, I can hear some of you being a bit disappointed because there's only one deleted scene, but remember, this is animation, and a lot of scenes that end up getting deleted get scrapped during this creation process, and the whole thing was clearly tuned and shined to the very last day. This means many of the deleted scenes were probably unfinished or unsuitable for their Blu-ray release. And there's also a possibility that some of those sequences could be being saved for the next movie, Beyond the Spider-Verse, because we have heard they were testing some segments for both movies while producing this current movie. Now, in any case, I think we're going to be seeing a lot of the Across the Spider-Verse franchise moving down the road. I am a little disappointed we don't have more than one deleted scene, but I do understand why. But ultimately, I think Sony is going to keep the reins on this franchise pretty tight, probably prioritize Beyond the Spider-Verse based on how well it's done at the box office, and hopefully give us some iterations of all these supporting characters that the mainstream fans finally got to know during these movies. How much Spider-World Sony ultimately brings us because of this film? Well, we're going to have to wait and see.